Cupertino, California, and I wanted to make a video today about safety positions. So safety positions are like a slightly redundant position in which you and the other person are like mutually out of harm's way when it's like a scenario that could otherwise cause an accident, or I guess what thread the needle between like a car accident that nobody could prevent. You know, you hear about it on the news every day. It's like, there was an accident, 10 people involved, nobody could prevent it. Or it's like, oh, this guy was merging and then 10 cars hit him. Like, you see it happen more and more and more and more and more and more, and I'm like starting to kind of get annoyed by it because it's never gonna happen to me. I'm the idiot that was like, oh, and then got run over by the bus. And the more I try to teach other people how not to be that idiot also, I think the easier it is for people that are interested in electric cycling as a motorsport to kind of get more out of putting themselves in less risk. So, because this thing does not have a seatbelt or a clutch, it doesn't have a seatbelt, it doesn't have a clutch, and it doesn't have that other weird part. I think it's called like an apex vortex or something. Motorsports, this is nowhere near like an actual electric motorcycle, but it has a lot of features that I have to kind of delineate, describe, and expand upon. One of those being the pedals and the chain. But I guess the focus of today's video was safety positions, and so I guess beyond, there's a way to stabilize hugging it with your knees, and that's something that I think a lot of motorists know, but at the same time sometimes I feel like not enough kind of understand and know how to apply. So I'm going to try to show you that. And so for this, I will start by saying that I don't have a Class C license, but on this electric bicycle that I purchased, I think one really useful thing to do to kind of stabilize it is just kind of hug it with your knees. Crossroad, like you hear the horns honking. I'm like kind of in a dangerous. I wanted to show you that it's possible if you understand safety positions. And so safety positions are kind of just like, it's kind of like a way to kind of, instead of standing like this when you think like, oh, you know, there might be a lot of traffic, a lot of cross traffic, a lot of mobs, you know, some kind of bent, and you're kind of like in a ready position, but it shouldn't result in anything defensive or offensive. It should just truly just maintain its own natural state. riding the electric bike, is just the normal, I guess, the pedal assist riding stance, where you're kind of just holding on with both hands and you're kind of just riding it like if it was a normal bicycle. That's the first position. But that's not the only position, and that's not the position that's really going to get you out of it. Define you in those moments when you are most exposed. So like, you can always take it for granted, and then on a lot of things it is kind of easy to take it for granted, but on the electric bike I think awareness is key, and like knowing how to kind of shift the awareness so that other people feel okay, I think is like a really big aspect of it, because once you learn how to ride it, there's really no limit to the places that you can take it. So, you know, depending on the type of area that you're in and depending on the type of day that you are having and the other person are having, I think it is important as an ambassador to kind of use caution or exercise caution. And the only way to really apply it is while riding. Like when you're off the thing, it doesn't really matter as much. Like if you were running towards the door, or if you were, you know, doing a handstand and walking on your hands when you were at home by yourself, like it doesn't matter as much as it does when you're on a motor vehicle or like on a personal electric motor vehicle. So ultimately, you're the only person. So I will now try to exercise these positions safely to navigate. I am also not familiar with the limits of, you know, the true limitation of 90% battery. I don't know. I just know that I'm like 2 or 3 miles away from my house, and I found a cool, unique spot that it would have been a lot harder for me to get to on my normal bike, or even on the electric unicycle for that matter. So I think that this is a really cool overpass to kind of dwell, or to kind of, I guess to me this overpass represents a bike route. says on that sign. It says bike route to Sunnyvale. So now we will follow the sign. Bike route.
Wait.
Safety position number 3, which is one that doesn't exist on the electric unicycle, where you kind of just put your hand on the battery like it's the crosswalk button. And then you just kind of put your feet down, both feet down. Don't just have one foot down. That shit's not gonna work. Both feet down, one hand on the battery. And it kind of symbolizes like putting it on the e-brake when you have a car.